there is basically no rules. There's no one thing works for everybody. So take some time to understand what feels right for you, what enables you to express yourself, your message, your value in a way that you feel proud of and feel comfortable and at ease with, what your clients respond to, what they will find valuable, and really go with your heart, do what feels right for you, and enjoy the process. Find an approach for social media that you can love, and then you'll find it much, much easier. For too long, talented experts with a service-based business like coaches, consultants, and freelancers have been losing out to the often inferior competition, and for just one reason: they struggle to communicate the true value that they offer. This is made all the more challenging if you have a quieter personality or are already feeling overwhelmed by everything it takes to market your business. If you can relate, I'm excited you're here because I believe that value whispering can help. It's the art of getting to know your true value and then weaving this through every interaction you have so you naturally stand apart from your competitors, feel aligned in all that you do, and have an impact that matters. It's marketing made simple, straightforward, and impactful. Welcome, I'm your host, Melitta Campbell, and I'm excited to be your guide in mastering the art of value whispering. Now, one way that a lot of small businesses share their value is through social media. And it is, of course, an amazing marketing tool. But over in the Dream Clients Club, every Wednesday we have conversations about marketing, and I've been offering the community free social media audits where I show you how you come across to the external world and give you some practical steps you can take to start attracting more of your dream clients and to start understanding how social media can fit into your marketing strategy for more impact. Through these audits and through the masterclasses, the value sessions I host in the club every Wednesday, I've discovered that there is a lot of confusion around social media. And worse, there's a lot of bad advice being shared. I see people telling me that, well, I paid for this coach and they told me to only do this, or I have to do that. Quickly followed by them also telling me it didn't really feel right. So today I want to look at what I see works well on social media in terms of starting to build your brand, build that relationship with your audience, start taking people in the direction of your business in a way that feels natural, aligned, and does feel right for you. Because if people tell you to do something that doesn't quite feel right for your brand, for your vision, for your customers, then you need to listen to your instincts first. And I know myself, I've fallen into that trap. I had a business coach a few years ago, and they were really insistent that I did this particular email out to my list, and it didn't feel right to me at all. It felt the complete opposite to my brand and how I want to show up and what people appreciated about working with me. But they were so insistent. I thought, okay, I'll go with it. I lost 2 clients because they came back to me and said, we work with you because you were not one of those kind of marketers. You teach things differently, you show up differently. And now you send us this email that just sounds like every other pushy salesperson or marketer out there. That's not what we signed up for. It was a big eye opener for me. And even though I teach this stuff, I still fall into that trap. I think we're all looking to be good students. If our coach tells us this is right, then we go with it. We want to succeed so we can help more people. But we need to listen into our instincts. So today, I want to share with you what I have learned works over social media consistently, whatever platform you're on, and to bust some of the myths that I've heard consistently, and to really give you permission to listen to your own heart, listen to your own vision, your own ideas, your own audience, and do what feels right for you and your business and your clients. That's all that matters. And if it works for you, it works. Full stop. So before we dive into that, I do want to invite you to join the Dream Clients Club, my community for coaches, consultants, experts, trainers, anyone with a service-based business. It's completely free to join. It's what a lot of coaches charge a lot of money to be part of every month. But for my community, it's completely free. We have those live masterclasses every week. So you can come along to those, ask questions, or all of the replays are within the membership. There's also other resources, there's challenges, there's an amazing community that you can tap into to support you. So do come and join us. You can find us at melittacampbell.com/club. So social media. It is a good idea to be on social media, whether you love it or hate it. Having a presence on social media is going to help your business because when people learn about you, they are going to check you out. If you're speaking at an event, if they meet you networking, if they get emails from you, usually they're going to check out your website and or your social media. So having a strong online presence is really important. However, what is also important is that you do not burn out or go insane in the process of managing your online presence. So some of the myths that I've heard is things like you have to be on social media at least an hour a day to get any kind of results. And I don't think that's true. I have a very simple strategy for my business. I set my timer for 20 minutes each day, and I just go in, I connect with 5 people, I send 5 messages, I comment on 5 posts, and if I have some content, I will share that as well. So I try and post most days. I'm only on LinkedIn, really. I have a presence on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and Pinterest and YouTube, but my main focus, my personal time and attention goes into LinkedIn. So although I have a presence elsewhere, I spend time on LinkedIn, and that's my strategy. And I say it takes 20 minutes a day. I check in later in the day to see if there's any responses to my messages, to my posts, to any of my comments, and I will engage because we have to remember that social media has to be social. So whatever we're putting out there, we have to be prepared to take some time to engage with people, to message, to reply, to really build that community and build a relationship that we have with them. So remembering that social media is social is really key, but also remembering it doesn't have to be a full-time job at all. And a little planning goes a long way. And I would encourage you, if you're not sure where to start with your social media planning, go to the Dream Clients Club, and in there's the Magnetic Messages Challenge. And on day 4 of that, we go into, and I give you a spreadsheet to complete so you can create your own social media content plan. And so when you have a bit of planning, you'll start to see that there isn't so much that you need to create. There's a lot that you can repurpose. And I show you how to break it down and make it easy. And I also share some strategies that I use to make sure that I can create content efficiently so that I have more time, because I'm building my business around my family and my dog and other commitments and my own personal growth and writing a book. There's always so many things going on. So I don't have time to put an hour, 2 hours into social media every day. Forget it. Yet it works. Just a couple of years ago, LinkedIn named me as one of the top sales influencers to follow, one of the 15 most authentic contributors on their platform, which meant so much to me because it proves that being yourself, being present in a way that works for you can work, and it does get attention. So that's my big lesson here is don't go mad on social media. Have a simple strategy that you can manage. And it's not about posting every day. I had a question from my community today, and it was, how often should we be posting content? And it depends on several things. So how often do your audience expect you to post? How often can you post? What time do you have? What can you manage? Because it's much better to post one good piece of content a week and be able to manage that and feel confident and happy in what you're sharing, and for your audience to read that post or watch that post or digest it in whichever form it's in and think, that has really helped me today. Thank you. And I always encourage my clients, ensure that whatever you post on social media, your audience is going to say thank you for it afterwards. That's really a nice check that you're getting the post right. And in the almost a decade now that I've been doing social media for my own business, I have only ever had people say thank you. It was nerve-wracking at first because getting visible and saying things, and I had all of these doubts. Who am I to say this? What if people disagree? What if people challenge me and I can't answer that? You know, all the usual fears that we all have. But I have only ever had people say thank you. And more than that, I've had people offer me all kinds of services and tools and books as a thank you because they've taken away so much value. And for me, that is a successful social media strategy. It's not if you post every day, it's not if you have X amount of followers and X amount of engagement. It's if your audience say thank you, if your brand is growing, if you are growing those relationships and having a nice pipeline of clients build up, and a pipeline of the right people who really value what you do and want to take that next step. They want a deeper service from you. That's where you're really taking people from your social media. And it's really the start point of a conversation. Which brings me to another myth that you should just post content. I don't know who advised this, but honestly, post content, walk away. As I said, social media should be social. So absolutely not. You post content that you want to have a conversation around. You want to build a discussion around. So if you keep that in mind, what is going to be really helpful? What are people going to say thank you for? And what will people want to engage with? How can you make it easy for them to add in their experiences, to add additional value to what you've put, to ask their questions, to open up? And not every post is going to be an engagement post. For example, if you're sharing a case study or a testimonial or something more along those lines, you probably won't get much engagement, but you are building your brand and you're building this idea in their mind, because that's what the brand is. It's not a pretty logo or anything. That's your branding, your corporate identity, but your brand is what you mean to other people. What is that impression they have in their mind of you? So they may not be engaging because there's not so much to say. They're not going to say on a post, amazing, I want to be in client because I'm failing at that too. But they'll be thinking it. That's my problem. I want to work with Sarah going forward. And they may message you, but they may not engage on those posts. So the idea that having a certain amount of engagement on a post is going to equal a certain amount of business success is almost nonsense. So sometimes the most engaging posts won't bring you any clients. Those posts that have zero engagement but set the scene and build your brand are the ones that attract the right people to your business. So there are several myths wrapped up in that. So don't worry too much about the engagement, but do be aware of how you're building your brand and how your audience is growing over time. If it's growing steadily, you're getting a positive response from your messaging, that kind of thing. That's all going in the right direction. But definitely don't just dump content and run. And I've seen videos where people are talking about the importance of having a post go viral. And I remember there was a certain point in my journey when I was starting out on social media and trying to figure out what does it take to make a social media post go viral. And I was really so preoccupied with that I lost really the point of social media, which is to build that audience, build that engagement, build your brand, start a conversation, have people get to know you. And if post goes viral, yeah, that's great. And it may result in a whole heap of clients and new people joining your audience and your list. But the main reason to post is to build that relationship over time. So I no longer chase viral posts and instead meaningful posts. So that's now my focus, because trying to get things to go viral is very distracting and exhausting, if I'm honest. And you don't need it. You don't need viral posts. You just need the right people to be seeing your content on a regular basis. And I think the statistics is something like 1% of of people on social media are content creators. 9% are people that engage and share. And the other 90% are just there in the background lurking. They're reading and they're enjoying. So if you get low engagement, it doesn't mean that people aren't seeing your posts. And very often I go networking, or a lady even stopped me in the street recently to say thank you for my content, that they read it all the time. And I'm completely unaware of it because they're not engaging in those posts. So number of followers, number of engagement isn't the end of it. So don't worry or stress about things going viral. It's much better to put that quality content out there that is going to make a difference and an impact for your clients. And just the other week, I saw quite a prominent business coach, someone that talks a lot about influence and how small businesses can grow their influence, be seen by more people. And they were really talking about you have to be on every platform, doing every type of content on each platform that you can possibly do. And I think, well, if you can do that, brilliant. But that's only really possible if you have a team and like a dedicated person per platform to do videos and reels and threads and stories and everything on every single platform and engage. I would say it's close to impossible if it's just you, or possibly you and a VA. So you can have a presence on all your platforms. I have a presence on most platforms except TikTok. Didn't even go there at all. But have one main platform that you focus on, one that you go all in on, where you're posting most regularly, where you are engaging, where you are messaging, building those relationships with people over time. So you don't need to have a presence everywhere, as long as you have one key platform that you manage actively. I've also heard the advice that you need to feed the algorithm. And I think, again, it feels almost impossible because the algorithm is always changing. And so if you are posting great content for real humans, that's really what the algorithm is trying to encourage. So whatever platform you're on, it's trying to prioritize the content that is most interesting and helpful for people. So if that's your focus, being interesting, helpful, valuable for your audience, then I would say that's naturally going to feed the algorithm anyway. So the same as with SEO, I always say write for humans first. And if you get that right, if the quality is right and you're really focused on the needs of your audience, the algorithm will naturally reward that anyway. There may be some little things you can do to push your impressions, your engagement a little bit more, but it all changes so fast anyway. It's more helpful just to think of what do you want to mean and represent for your audience, and really focus in on that. So getting to know your audience, having that clear niche is really important. If you do struggle with that, go and check out my video on YouTube. If you search on YouTube for Melitta Campbell and confident niching, you'll find my masterclass there. I've put it there because it's such a big question so many people have challenges with. And so that's my most simple, straightforward way of explaining why you need a niche, the benefit of that, and how to go about it and feel good about the niche you've selected, knowing that your niche will evolve over time. You're never going to nail it 100% right out the gate, or it's rare. Usually you will evolve and it will tweak, but then as you evolve and as your audience evolves as well, it's going to change too. So you want to stay in contact with your dream clients so that you can know at any moment in time what's meaningful for them and what they're going to say thank you for. Another question I had was like, when is the best time to post? So it depends. To quote Janine Liston from the podcast a few weeks ago, she's the pricing lady, and for the answer of almost every question was, well, it depends. But then she did go into a brilliant explanation. And the reason it depends for your social media is because every audience is different. Every platform is different. You know, what works for people here in Europe may not work for people in the US. So where is your audience? What are they doing in a day? what industry are they in, different times of day, different seasons, different months, different days of the week. They all have different engagement levels from your audience. So you just want to pay attention to what works best for your audience. So for some, it may be posting early in the morning in LinkedIn, but for others, it may be that people are engaging mostly on their commute on the way home from work. That's when they engage. Or maybe you cater to parents and it's nap times when they're active on social media. But if you vary your posting times and take note of when people are most active, when they respond, you'll start to build your own schedule. So there's no hard and fast rules around this. It's what works for you and your audience works. So just pay a little bit of attention, track that over a period of maybe 1 or 2 weeks or longer to see if you can spot what time and schedule works best for you and your audience. I also heard some terrible advice around what exactly you should post on social media. So there was one person was told, don't post anything, share other people's content, share videos, share pictures, but never put a caption, which is terrible advice. How can you really add value with no caption? There's no thought leadership in no content. You're really missing an opportunity to show your audience who you are, what you know, and add value in that space. Likewise, I had someone else and they were told only ever put one sentence, never more than one sentence. And again, you can add a little bit more thought leadership and a little bit more value in one sentence than no sentence, but not much. And sometimes there are moments where there is maybe just one line. I've seen great posts on Twitter that have done brilliantly where it's like, I want you to remember, if things aren't going your way, just breathe, tomorrow's another day. End of. Sometimes it is just a small piece of advice that you want to share. Sometimes you have a longer content that is going to do justice to the value you want to share that day, the message you want to get across. So lean into the value that you are sharing and what length or what style of post is going to get that across most effectively. I've heard people being told only use images or only use videos or never use videos. I have a client and she loves doing videos, hates writing. And she was told, no, don't do videos, only do the writing. And so she stopped posting because if we don't enjoy what we're doing, we don't do it, right? However, that's awful advice because videos are doing really well on every platform. And if you love video or if you love writing, lean into that because that's your personality. If that's the way that you feel most confident getting out there and sharing your value, go with it. There's no rights or wrongs. There's no musts or shoulds when it comes to marketing. I've worked and studied and lived marketing for 3 decades now. And to my mind, others may disagree and have a different point of view, and that's fine. But to my mind, there's no rules. It's about you understanding how you best share value and how your audience most appreciates to receive it. So being someone who's shy and introverted, if you read my book, A Shy Girl's Guide to Networking, you'll know that networking just didn't suit me for the longest time because I was trying to do it like other people. I was trying to show up like an extrovert, which I really wasn't. So it never felt natural until I'd embraced my own style and personality, developed a system that worked for me. And then my network flourished. And thanks to my network, I started my first business. I got my second and third businesses up and running very quickly. And my network has been incredible. It's given me so many opportunities. It's helped me learn and grow in so many different ways. But it didn't work for me until I found my way of showing up. And networking is marketing. It's marketing on steroids because you're just in front of someone, you have a short space of time to engage, not sell, to engage and start that relationship. So I learned firsthand and got quite passionate about this idea that there's no hard and fast rules when it comes to marketing. What works for you and your clients works. I might have said that already, but it's really important to always embrace that. If you know you're adding value in a way that feels comfortable, you enjoy, your audience says thank you, that's good. You don't need to listen to anyone else. And so often the women that I interview on my podcast, the times that they have screwed up in some way, it's always because they haven't listened to their gut. They've gone with some advice that they were given that didn't suit them, didn't feel right, but they went with it anyway and got themselves in a pickle or wasted time and felt disappointed. And every time they're like, I knew better. Like with me and that coach in the email, I knew better. But we're never immune to this. So we mustn't beat ourselves up when we do it. But the more we can tune into our own vision, our own intuition, understand the needs of our clients and how we can add value into that relationship, how we feel comfortable building those relationships, building our brand, building our business, the more we focus in on that and tune into it, the better we'll be. And just apply that to your social media. I had another lady and she had been told to post something every day and never post more than once the same content. And I say, hogwash to that. As a result, she was just posting anything that didn't have any meaning. It didn't add value. She didn't feel good about what she was posting, but it was something every day to maintain that presence. And again, as I said earlier, I would much rather you post once a week or damn, even once a month. If that's what you can manage and you can put out some really great content that you feel proud of and your audience is going to say thank you for, posting any old nonsense every single day isn't going to build your brand. It isn't going to build those relationships. It really is this human to human conversation that we're starting on social media. So we can continue that conversation, invite people off social media, because social media is rented ground with a fickle landlord. We want to engage with people there, build those relationships and take those relationships off social media and into our own platforms like our email, for example, as quickly and smoothly and naturally as possible. We don't want to push people. We want that process, that journey to feel natural, but it's really important that we get people off social media because things can change. We can get blocked. Who knows what happens? As they, we don't own our social media platform. That belongs to the platform itself and they are in control. We control our email list. So that's a perfect place for people to go to be nurtured in a more personal and a deeper way. So to continue that relationship. So don't try and post every day if you can't put something that you feel great about. And I say repurpose everything because who's got time to make new content all the time? If you've got great content that helps people, put it out several times, because only a small proportion of your audience is seeing your content on a regular basis. And so very few people are going to see every single post that you put out, if anybody. I would argue that you are the only person that sees every post you put out there. So reuse that content. And that's a great way to build your presence over time, because if you're posting once a month and then you're repurposing, you can start to put one new content out a month plus a repurposed piece of content. So you now twice a month you're there. And then after a few months, you can add in more repurposing, reshare things more often. So you're posting once a week without going mad because you're using a lot of the content, the great content that you've already had. So I repurpose everything, reschedule. I put a video out on LinkedIn just a couple of weeks ago on how quick and easy it can be to reschedule the same post over and over without any tools. You just go straight into the platform, go and check out my channel to see that video. But we're all for efficiency, adding value as often as we can manage that we feel proud of. And so repurposing works brilliantly. So I wanted to bust some myths and really give you permission to be social, to be focused on how you generate value for your clients and really focus on that as your prime goal, as your compass on social media, and give you permission to ignore anyone that says anything differently unless what they say makes sense to you. If someone says something, you think that makes sense, that feels good, I can see how that would work for my clients, by all means experiment and try it out. But if it really feels wrong, don't do it. So my top tips for effective social media without going insane is be focused on your niche. Really know who your dream clients are, what they're struggling with today, what their vision is, and how you can help them, and focus your content on that. Be helpful. Focus on quality over quantity always, and be human first. Have 1 to 3 themes that you talk about on a regular basis. If you have been around for a little while, there is so much value you can add. There are so many topics you can talk about, but you'll confuse your audience and you'll make things difficult for yourself. So have 1 to 3 themes that you focus on social media, and keep things focused on that, because then people know what to come to you for, and you become an expert, a go-to person for that. If you're talking about anything and everything, it's too broad and people don't know when to come to you. It's much harder to add value and build that solid brand if you're too diluted in the content you're sharing. Be positive and helpful always. People fuse your content with your personality. So if you are negative, if you say anything that isn't helpful, they assume that that's you, that you're a negative person, that you're not very helpful for them. So do the opposite. Don't get drawn into anything negative online. Always stay positive, and that's what people will start to build into your brand. Remember, social media should be social. Start conversations, build relationships, engage with people that show interest in your content, reach out to people who look interesting, who you think, I would love to get to know them. I wonder if I can help them or they can help me. And Natalie Carthy on the podcast a few months ago talked about these people as persons of interest, but you want to have a conversation to know in what way they can be interesting for you. And so clients come from conversations, particularly if you are a coach or consultant. You need to get to know people first before they feel confident taking that next step. It's rare that someone will just engage with a coach without knowing anything about them, without having stalked them for a little while or had a conversation in some way. So use your social media to start that part of the process, to start those conversations, help them get to know who you are, what you represent, and what they can expect from working with you. Adopt the 80-20 rule. So you want to be talking about your business, of course, on social media, but do use 20% of the time to let people know who you are personally. What do you do outside work? What do you get excited about? What are you learning? What are your struggles? Part of our value very often doesn't come from our skills and our talents, but what we've lived through, what we've survived, what we've learned from all the wonderful ways we've messed up. And, we've all been there. We've all messed up a lot, but we've learned from that. We've grown through that. And that can be part of our value as well. So share those personal experiences as well. You don't have to go too personal. You don't have to talk about your family. You don't have to share pictures of your lunch. Share what feels like it's helping your audience get to know you, that it's breaking down any barriers and making them feel comfortable to take that next step with you, to get to know you. And do be consistent. So post once a week consistently, once a month consistently, once a day, whatever you can manage. But most of all, be consistent in your message. Be consistent in the way you show up. So that's what's going to build trust and credibility more than if you post every single week. If they always can trust you to show up a certain way, have a certain point of view, challenge certain things, then that is going to build that trust in you and that belief that you're the right person for them to work with. So be consistent in your brand and your message over consistent of being posting. But if you can do both, that's perfect. The one final thing I wanted to share with you, something that's helped me massively, is batch creating. So planning my content ahead and batching all my graphics together, batching a few newsletters or writing a newsletter and then repurposing the content of that already in advance so I can drip feed that content over time and always get ahead. So I would highly recommend spending a time each week or each month, whatever suits you, to batch create your content. It will help you feel so much more in control. You'll see what time you have available, and it will drive you a lot less mad than trying to do it in the moment. Also, it enables you to create content that you can then put aside and come back to, so that you can do a nice edit and check, is this the best way I could express this? Do I feel really confident sharing this post? Particularly if you feel a little bit nervous about being visible, about sharing content, if you create it in advance and then share it later, it's much easier to reflect back objectively on the quality of that content, rather than doing it in the moment, putting it out there and then feeling all anxious and keeping your fingers crossed, or just closing your eyes and avoiding any comments in case they're not nice ones. But as I said, in all my years of posting, if you're posting for the right reasons, if you're sharing great content, if you're being valuable, people are only ever going to say thank you. So I hope that's helped you today to bust some myths out there with social media. And do come and join us at the Dream Clients Club. You'll find us at melittacampbell.com/club, because there you're going to have access to me every single week. And I'm there engaging, giving you feedback, giving you social media audits, everything to support you in getting your value out into the world. Because for me, I can't help dreaming about a world where everybody understands their true value, believes in it, and they're able to share that with the world, live out their purpose, make a difference, feel proud. And I just can't help thinking that if everyone was in that position, what an amazing world we'd live in. So that's really my mission, is to help you to understand your true value, to weave that through everything you do, to really embrace the value whispering approach to marketing, so everything feels comfortable and has that meaningful impact. You build a business that matters. So in that club, I'm doing everything I can to support you through that process. So do come and join us. And also, I invite you to share your thoughts on social media. What myths have you been told that I can help bust for you? Or what works for you? And come into the club and share that in the conversation. There's always a podcast chat on the go where you can add your thoughts and insights and reflections there as well. So do come and share those. Again, melittacampbell.com/club is where you'll find us. Meantime, there are a lot more tools, tips, and insights coming up for you in the next episode. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss your weekly dose of inspiration. And if you have enjoyed the show, then please take a moment to share this episode with your network and business besties. And I would love it if you could leave a review on Apple Podcasts, because that helps more people to find the show and to benefit as well. Meantime, I've been Melitta Campbell, your business coach and value whisperer, and I'll see you again next Thursday.